Hi, I'm the Tabletop Teacher, and in this video, we'll take a look at team abilities in general and get you started with 10 of them. When you start playing Heroclix, there are an awful lot of powers and abilities to wrap your head around, and adding team abilities on top of that might just seem like an extra layer of complexity. Well, it is, but you know what? There are some team abilities that are more intuitive than others, and these are what I'll be talking about here. First of all, know that a character possesses a team ability if it's printed on its dial. There's no other requirement. If it's there, the character possesses it. It's like having a special power that's available on every click, pretty much like a trait. But unlike traits, for which you can read the description on the character's card, you must refer to the team abilities cards to find out what they do. And you can find both the DC and Marvel team abilities cards on the Heroclix website. When I started playing Heroclix, I remember being sometimes confused by keywords that were either similar or the same as some team abilities. Team abilities and keywords are two entirely different things. They are not intrinsically related. For instance, Kingpin here has the Hydra keyword on his card, but does not have the Hydra team ability on his base. One does not imply the other. A team ability is all about the base. There are a lot of team abilities, 40 or so, but know that some of them are DC and Marvel equivalents. Some are a little more complicated than others and might be very challenging to integrate into your game if you're a new player. But no worries, you don't have to understand everything right away. Just let everything seep in gradually and keep watching the Tabletop Teacher to give you a hand, of course. With this in mind, here are 10 team abilities I consider to be best suited for newer players. Mystics, Batman Ally, Superman Ally and Avengers Initiative, Calculator, Legion of Superheroes, Minions of Doom, Spider-Man. These 4 are all DC and Marvel wildcards, which I'll explain shortly. And finally, Quintessence and Power Cosmic. Let's start with Mystics. There are characters from both the Marvel and DC universes that have this team ability, which is identified by an Ankh. It's an Egyptian hieroglyphic. When these characters take damage from an attack, they deal 1 unavoidable damage right back to the attacker. It's not an attack. It doesn't require an attack roll or anything. When these characters take damage from an attack, they hurt the attacker back. These characters are especially useful against opponents that have strong damage reducers like Impervious. One important thing to note here is that a Mystic's character must take damage from an attack for the team ability to activate. Being hit or being dealt damage is not quite enough. Powers like Mind Control won't trigger the magical damage feedback because it's a no damage attack. Same goes if damage is reduced to 0 thanks to something like the Impervious defense power. The Mystic's team ability only activates if the character takes damage. Batman Ally. If you find this Batman symbol or this variant on the base of a character, that makes him or her a Batman ally. And as you'd expect from allies of the Dark Knight, these characters can use stealth. Okay, it's a bit weird that Robin would have it, not the stealthiest colors. In any case, if you have a whole team of those and there's enough hindering terrain, most opposing characters won't be able to use any kind of power that requires a line of fire. Sweet. Superman Ally and Avengers Initiative are DC and Marvel equivalents of the same team ability. You could say this team ability is the opposite of Batman Ally. Characters using either one of these team abilities treat hindering terrain as clear terrain for movement and line of fire purposes. They can move through hindering terrain, water terrain, or objects without having to stop their movement, and those stealthy characters can't hide in hindering terrain either. It also means that characters occupying hindering terrain don't get a bonus to their defense against range attacks from Superman allies or members of the Avengers Initiative. Think of it as X-ray vision or improved targeting technology. Now, all of the following team abilities, Calculator, Legion of Superheroes, Minions of Doom, and Spider-Man, are wildcards. Why have 4 different team abilities that all mean the same thing? Well, it's to keep things comic accurate in character design. You wouldn't want Ra's al Ghul to have the Spider-Man team ability. A character with any one of these symbols on the base can copy almost any other team ability possessed by another friendly character on the map. No line of fire is required or anything. The characters don't need to have anything in common either. Supposing they're on the same team, Harley Quinn could copy Doctor Strange's Mystic's team ability. It doesn't matter that she's a DC villain and he's a Marvel hero. They only need be on the same team. There are different ways to use wildcards. Having every team member being able to use the same team ability can be brutal. Let's say Abracadabra teamed up with Captain Cold, Heatwave, and Trickster to take on the Flash and friends. Now, since Abracadabra possesses the Mystic's team ability and his teammates are all calculators, they can copy the Mystic's team ability. This means your opponent will be taking 1 unavoidable damage every time one of your characters takes damage from an attack. Falcon is on your team with a bunch of characters that have the Spider-Man team ability? Well, there's no hiding in the shadows from you guys because they can all copy Falcon's Avengers Initiative team ability. But if you have a wildcard character and several characters with different team abilities, then the wildcard can pick and choose which one to copy. And that character can do so more than once during your turn. Choosing a team ability to copy is a free action, and one of those very rare free actions you can actually repeat in a turn. Now, suppose Captain Boomerang, Steel, and Huntress are on the same team. This would mean that Captain Boomerang could copy Steel's Superman ally team ability before making his running shot. That allows him to draw line of fire to Thorn, who has stealth. Since Captain Boomerang ended his movement in hindering terrain, he could then, in the same turn, choose to copy the Batman ally team ability from Huntress. So now, lines of fire to Captain Boomerang are blocked. The idea here is to be sure to copy the best possible team ability for your wildcards before ending your turn. Some team abilities are uncopyable though. That's the case for Quintessence and Power Cosmic. These two are team abilities you'll find on some of the most powerful characters of the game, like Parallax Kyle Rayner and the Collector. Characters with these team abilities can use willpower, and their powers cannot be countered. One last thing for now. If there's more than one team ability on the base of a character, he or she can use all of them simultaneously. Like Toymaster here from the World's Finest set. He is both a Batman and Superman ally, so he can use stealth as well as treat hindering terrain as clear terrain for movement and line of fire purposes. A wild card could still only copy one of the team abilities though. You know what? We have just covered 25% of all the team abilities. I'll address other team abilities in future videos, but I hope this gave you enough to start integrating some of them into your game. Do you have a favorite team ability? Share your strategies using it in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the Tabletop Teacher, and as always, thanks for playing with me.